task force to order at 1:08 p.m. on August 30th. And we'll start with, we need to go through everything, right, Mayor? Silent meditation and pledge. Okay, great. We'll take a couple moments and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, it's wonderful. And Mayor Nickerson, if you could do the roll call, please.
Roll call. Member Webb.
Present.
Vice Chair McLean.
Present.
Chairperson Carpenter.
Present.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We also have, for the record, we have our wonderful village municipal manager, Christia Liu. We also have our engineer, Orlando Rubio from Craig A. Smith and Associates.
Hello.
We also have our grant writer, Mr. Rano. And we have one of his newest members of his team, Ian. And so Mr. Ian is also here, and he is also a commissioner from Sweetwater. So he's a great friend of mine, and he's down with my my partner, one of my partners in the county, and that's Pepe Diaz, the wonderful Pepe Diaz.
Hello, Commissioner.
Hey, Orlando, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Time.
Yeah.
Doing well.
All right.
Madam Chair, turn it back over to you.
All right. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Or if not, can we have someone move to approve?
Member McLean, you're muted. Member Webb, you can approve the agenda or second.
I move to approve.
All right. Do I have a second?
I second.
Perfect.
Sorry, I lost connection there for a second.
Oh, that's okay. All right, agenda is approved, and I would move, I think, for approval of the minutes from the following meeting to table that until our next meeting. Can I just say that, or do I need to? Okay, good. All right, and I believe Mayor Nickerson already acknowledged all our welcome visitors, and we have good and welfare, but I don't believe we have anyone generally from the public on, so we can move past that and then jump into agenda item number 1. Was this just
you know, Madam Chair, I'll put that on. Agenda item number 1, there's congratulations in order, and she's humble, didn't even want to say it for herself, but I'll say it for her, and that is that our wonderful chairperson of our Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force, Ms. Elizabeth Pata Carpenter, is the newest executive director, or the executive director, a new position for her at the Everglades Law Center. So we appreciate you.
Yeah,
very well
congratulations.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate that.
Right down the path of what you believe in and what you stand for, and it couldn't happen to a better individual.
Thank you so much, Mayor, and everyone. I very much appreciate that, and excited to keep working.
And this is one of many things, because myself and Manager Liu, we talk about her all the time. She's definitely a future council person of El Portal, and hopefully by the time Manager Liu and I leave, she'll be much higher in that council. As far as
one thing at a time.
Anyway, that's all I gotta say for that. All right, moving on.
Mayor, why do you congratulate her and then wish her to be on the council? Really?
I know. I shouldn't wish that. I shouldn't wish that bad on her. I know. I should keep it festive. Madam Chair, it's all yours.
Oh, well, thank you guys. You're far too kind, but really appreciate it. All right, moving on to H2, the Florida Recreational Development Assistant Program, and I'll kick it back to you, Mayor.
Yeah, and so this right here is for you, Ms. Ruano, Commissioner Ian. How you doing, my brother? Mr. Rubio and the village manager for this grant that we were applying for. You guys might want to brush across it just really quickly. I know we have to have it on the agenda.
Sure. Yeah, I think I'll let Ian. Ian's gonna. I said he was gonna take the lead, but I just want to put in my 2 cents for history. So obviously you have very few lots in town. You have to have ownership of. We were able to look at the tot lot. I was out there. It's need for a recreational facility. You really can't add too many for this particular program. It's small. It's a $50,000 grant, but I just want to say I hope that there's more of these that we can start considering in the future for this and other grants, and we can talk about that further with this board that are coming up. So I'll let Ian take it away.
Well, before Ian takes away, I do want to give a little history too on the parks renovation project. I'm sorry, Mr. Morano. Ian, the grant is critical, but I want to say this because I have to leave in about 15 minutes as well. But I will say that the parks renovation project is a project that we introduced about 2 years ago. Mr. Rubio is the project manager of that effort. We have done significant work, but released an RFP, found contractors, had an architectural or landscape architect go through each park. And we've got approvals for the parks we don't own, meaning the West Side parks. But we did get approval to just renovate in terms of upgrading, updating, making things look nice, adding landscaping that was, native and just beautifying those locations due to some funding we received from a developers agreement. Well, that funding is not enough. So we have kind of put the pause on the renovation project just because we don't have enough funding. So now we're going out finding grants. So Mr. Luano found this grant for us. And so we bring it to this body to
As well.
get Mr. Rubio and Mr. Luano and I are here for any questions related to it, but I'm going to let now Ian talk about this particular grant and the top line. So take it away, Ian.
All right, well, the FERDAP grant is a $50,000 grant. You don't need a match for it. So it's just, and also it's due tomorrow, but don't worry, it's doable. It's not a complicated application, especially that you guys are just doing it for a tot lot. So all I got to do is a couple of little narratives here and there and a map and a couple of maps. But I will need some items from you guys to complete the application. But yeah, $50,000 grant, no match, a tot lot. I think you guys we can all do this really quickly. So I will need what is it, that thing? A letter signed by the city manager. That
Yeah, I have that, so I'll
you
be
have
getting
that, okay.
I'll be
I'll
getting that.
also
with her.
need the
I'll put
capital
together.
improvements plan. Is this project included in your current capital improvements plan?
Madam Manager,
We have the landscape architect plans that we put out for bid. It's a capital project, but the village doesn't have an overall. They have a stormwater master plan. They have a sanitary sewer master plan. And now they have this parks renovation plans.
But we also went over all of this with Robert, so maybe Robert can give you the comp plan information as well.
Correct. Yeah, we have some of that information. So we'll get with you separately,
Yes.
Christia, about that. More than anything, we wanted to give this board an opportunity to ask any questions about it in terms of the timing, in terms of anything that you want, look at in the future, but particular to this grant, since it's due so soon.
You may want to talk about what's to be done with the $50,000 if we were to receive it.
Yeah, it would be the purchase and the installation of the tot lot. So you guys have to find a good quote on how much on a tot lot, on all the materials and then the installation. So, and I think you guys gave me some of that.
Is this a replacement of existing equipment or an addition?
Yeah, that's what you guys are applying for, a replacement of everything
Okay.
that's there.
All right.
You don't want to add to it. It's in poor shape. It's really old and rusted and has like holes and has some loose parts, it looks like. So it's a complete change. Everything that's there, get rid of
Okay.
it, scrap it, put something new there.
Yeah, so if I can interject here. So when the village put the parks plans out to bid, we had one bid submittal, and the bid estimate for the current tot lot plans was over $500,000. So we probably have to, obviously we have to figure out what you want to spend on with those $50,000. But just to let you know that the bid for the tot lot was $556,000.
Okay.
If I could interject for a moment, this grant is specifically for recreational facilities. So what it would pay for is the actual tot lot equipment. So this can be incorporated into a larger plan. The other thing, and part of this, if we can, I was going to talk about the budget, but along with the tot lot, there can be some ADA improvements to the sidewalk to get people to the tot lot and that kind of thing. And even if there's money, maybe make a little connection, a pad to one of the benches there that doesn't have ADA improvements. That all makes the project look good, and it's obviously better for the residents.
I had just had a quick question. So this is $50,000 for the equipment. Do we have the rest of the money to finish the project? This is just the final top off, or is it the beginning?
No, this is the beginning.
Okay.
We have the money if we only did the top lot, we would
Gotcha.
have. But we don't have the money to do the other 3 to 5 parks. So we are also seeking other funding opportunities as well through other, but this is a particular grant we're looking
Okay.
for. But yes, we're still, looking for other opportunities. And we're also expecting in the new fiscal year, another tranche from that developer's fee. So we don't even have all of those in yet, but we're collecting those fees, getting those there so that we can at least start on some of these projects. We'd like to start with the first 3, the village owned properties.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if I could just say also, there's going to be other opportunities and grants coming up for like trees, for example, in the park. So some of that entire budget can come from different places because you have some oaks, but then you have some ficuses that really probably shouldn't be there, and you could replace with a bunch of oaks and get more shade in the area.
And if we wanted, so this is just a piece of it. If we wanted to, in the tot lot, incorporate some of the green infrastructure that we had talked about when we met with local Miami Waterkeeper, we would be able to still do that with this, right? This isn't limited anything.
Well, I'm not sure about that. We do have the landscapers list of landscaping that we want to add to it. Some of those things, they are the same. So yes, but then there are some things that we may not be able to afford just yet. So we will add, it could be part of the phasing. But yes, all of those recommendations are to be added. But we do have a landscaping list right now. We're going to try to get some funding through that. And then as we get more into our other grants opportunities or other funding opportunities, we'll add those more bells and whistles that we feel like would be really, would pack a lot of punch in terms of resiliency that we discussed with you all. Or we want to add that as well.
Okay, great.
Yeah, let me jump in real quick. So I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Chair, but if I think what you were alluding to is with this right here and us having this, does that stop us from implementing other things? Like does this come with any guidelines? And I don't know if that's what you were asking or not, but I just wanted to say
that's
that.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So I think that's what she was asking. Like because if we get this, does this say, okay, if you get this, well then you have to then design your tot lot a certain way because you got this grant. It doesn't say that. It doesn't have those type of qualifications or like restrictions. So that's why as soon as you asked your question, I was like, no, it doesn't restrict us from doing other stuff because we get this grant.
Right, but it is purely for equipment, not landscaping. That's
right.
No, right. Okay, yeah, for hard equipment and surfaces.
So you can look at the landscapes architects quantities and see what's equipment and what's not equipment, and you can go from there as to what you can buy from. Because it's an itemized list from our bid form. So I don't know if you have that, Robert, but
you can pull it up. Maybe I did send it to everybody, I believe.
And is there any restrictions on when this funding can be used if we're waiting for additional funding for the complete project?
Ian, do you mind explaining the process?
Sorry, what was the question? I was looking at the form.
what's the time frame for usage of these funds if we're waiting for additional grants or funds to come in to complete the tot lots and other areas?
Actually, Robert, do you know the answer to that one? Not sure what the time frame is.
All right. Yeah, I do. So we submit it now. They typically used to rank it like in March or April and give you the rank statewide, but they may or may not give that to you. But the short answer is, if you're ranked in the money, you get the contract in August of next year, and then that's when you can spend the money.
All right,
Yeah,
everybody.
and then it does, they do look at FERDAP as kind of like an appropriation at the state level. So it would also depend on the state budget for this coming fiscal year, whether the governor signs off on all of the FERDAP projects or some of them. You know, he could veto some of them if he wants to. So we got to go through the legislature and the governor as well with FERDAP.
I also add that we are, because we have already done the architectural plans for this, or the landscaping plans have already been done, all of this is really shovel ready. So we would be ready to go as soon as those funds were released. Once we would do, you know, of course we would do an RFP, but just that we would be ready. We wouldn't need to be in the planning stages since we're already there.
Let me just say really quickly, I know that Manager Liu has a 130, Madam Chair has a 140. But I want to say before Manager Liu gets off, that, you know, when it comes to the Parks project, and I want to give so much thanks to Manager Liu, Mr. Rubio, because the Parks project, just quite frankly, and I'll be as diplomatic as possible, Madam Manager, the Parks project could be much further along. And it would be, but you know, there was a certain individual on the council that you know, causing issues with things, and we just kind of have those type of things happen on our council, unfortunately, these days. But Manager Liu has done everything possible inside and out. We've had many discussions about things. This individual, even though myself and Manager Liu work so good together hand in hand and we accomplished so much together, this individual didn't even want me to be a part of it, you know, anymore. So, but it, you know, it could be so much further along. Unfortunately, it's not. And so we have to now kind of pivot. And it's interesting because, you know, Manager Liu is pivoting to save and do whatever she can to keep this Parks project plan alive that we've been working on, even though, you know, individuals on the council have tried to cut her feet from under her, you know, every step of the way, but she keeps working on this. And what's interesting is that she works on it and she saves these Parks project plans. She saved it so many times. Because when they didn't want me, you know, when individuals didn't want me involved in it or whatever anymore, like just kind of like, you know, took a step back. But she saved it so many times. But with all the saves and the accomplishment that comes with the saves, and I'm sure this will be this right here will be no different either, Madam Manager, with all these accomplishments that comes with the saves. These individuals want to take credit for it, even though they sabotage it, and she has a save it. So I just want to say to Mr. Rubio, thank you very much for you. I know you've been patient throughout this whole process and helping out so much. And Manager Liu, before you get off, especially, I just want to thank you. And this is just another step that shows that Manager Liu always is going above and beyond to do things for the village.
Thank you, Mayor. And then just for the benefit of others, when we made the bid recommendation, and because the budget was limited to $800,000, we created like 4 scenarios on where we could spend that to spend the 800,000 based on the bid price. So we divided, we had scenarios to do Sherwood, Tequesta, Nature Trail was one example, and so on and so on. So you can still do that if you get another bid and for these parks and they're high again, you can select to do X number of parks within that budget plus the 50,000 you might get from FERDAP.
I do have to leave, and thank you, Mr. Rubio, and thank you so much, Mayor Nickerson, for supporting the trying to help us keep this alive. It's important. We made promises to the community, and I think it's important to see those through. I mean, this is where we can really make the most impact for the community. So I appreciate that you all in this body, as well as Mayor Nickerson, continue to try to work with us. So I'm going to hop off, but I will circle back as needed and get any notes that you all provide us. Thank you so much. And
Thank you, Madam.
Rubio and Mr. Ruano and Ian will be there to answer any further questions. Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you.
So yeah, Manager Lou has a meeting that she has to attend right now. Okay, for this item, is there any other questions anybody has?
Not me.
And I
Did
think
you
this is,
also need approval for the grant? Do you need approval from this board or this task force?
no, we don't. But we'll go through the roll call anyway. But we don't. We just needed to have this meeting take place so that you all are aware and we answer all of your questions, because you all are the task force, you are the board, the committee for everything environmentally, sustainability, resiliency. So we run it through you all. And, you know, I love y'all and I respect y'all. So that's basically why we're here.
I would just like to make like I think this sounds like a no-brainer. It sounds great. There's no limitations on it. New equipment would be wonderful. I just want just comment on the larger park project. I think it would be great. I know we've got plans already, but to make sure that those plans are maximizing green infrastructure and the ability to not only absorb additional stormwater, but also clean it. So I'd love to see that incorporated to the maximum extent practicable in the projects. And just for the benefit of Kristen and Matthew, we had a meeting with Miami Waterkeeper talking about innovative solutions to green infrastructure and things like that. So that's what I'm referring back to earlier.
Absolutely, for sure. And Madam Chair, you can do a quick update with that. I think that's the next item, I believe, right?
It's update on sustainability and resiliency projects, funding, and grants. That's what you want me to give an update on that?
Yeah, so when we go through that, the next item, you can give an update on all this kind of stuff we've been kind of talking about a little bit lately, like brief update. And then I was gonna, when we have the next like full sustainability and resiliency task force, like Hugh is here and Colin and all of them, then we can get deeper into the woods with all of that type of stuff or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I'll just keep it really brief.
Let me see, Madam Chair, if I may.
Sure.
For this current topic, before Madam Chair goes on, is there anything else, Mr. Rubio, Mr. Urano, Mr. Commissioner? You get respect now, my brother. I got your title,
Yeah. But for this, I'm just Mr. Grant Consultant, Mr. Grant Writer.
I understand, but I'm a mayor. You gonna always be Mr. Commissioner.
Yeah, I got you.
But it's all good.
I appreciate it.
Anything else, Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Urano, Mr. Rubio?
On the FERDAP or the resiliency?
On the FERDAP.
No, that's it. The only thing, if we're going to implement green infrastructure, we'll have to revisit with the landscape architect on those issues.
On the bid form, how much is a playground alone? Just the tot lot was $556,000. All that includes landscaping and equipment. No, but just if you just replace the play set.
Yeah, that's itemized. I'd have to send you an itemized pricing on that, because he does have something like that, but they're broken out. You get about 2.5 play sets of what he ordered.
So just to be clear on this, though, this was a quote from a vendor. We're not married to the actual equipment there. The goal is to get something that the city wants and that fits within its budget, correct?
Yeah, and what the village and what he put on the bid is what the village wanted, and that's the price from one contractor. The price did coming over budget, and if we put this out to bid again, these prices aren't going to change much, because we've compared similar park projects throughout the area, and and the pricing was you know, quite high, to be honest. But that's going to be the norm with these things, even with other capital projects, storm or sanitary or potable water main. That's everything's going up quite a bit.
Okay. Well, I can. I've had others that have had luck with tot lots and making it within the budget, but it's okay. We can. It doesn't matter if it goes over as long as we get the 50.
Right.
Madam Chair.
Okay, we're all set. Thank you guys so much for talking us through that and answering our questions. We're all set on that agenda item?
I believe we're also on an agenda item. Let me just say, Madam Chair, if I may, right before they leave, just really quickly want to say, you know, I appreciate you all being here, Commissioner Ian, Mr. Dorano, Mr. Rubio, and I just want to say that, you know, hopefully, and you know, myself and Mr. Dorano have had, we had a good discussion with the manager, and hopefully, you know, this is a great sign to see. As you see, you know, with Commissioner Ian joining his team, the grant searches, you know what I mean, will be, you know, much more aggressive. We appreciate that, and so we really appreciate both of you all being here.
Thank you, Mayor. But is the chairperson, Madam Chair, are you leaving the meeting now?
I got 5 minutes.
Okay, I just, if you'll indulge me for a second, because I really didn't want you to miss this. Ian is actually not the only addition to our team. There is somebody named Whitney Cooper, and Whitney has been working with Orlando. Orlando has been extremely helpful. And as of our last conversation, we are applying, the Village of El Portal is applying for a vulnerability assessment grant that's due tomorrow. The grant has been done. It's been vetted and everything. We've gone through the approvals. We'll be submitting tomorrow. And in addition, due on September 14th, they were going to be due on September 1st, but the state moved the deadline to September 14th. We're also applying for a water quality improvement grant with, thankfully, the help of Orlando for the El Jardín improvements. So just wanted to let you know about that, because obviously it involves sustainability.
That's fantastic news. Thank you so much for filling us in on that. That's wonderful. Was there, did you all have any luck with the Army Corps grant?
I had an initial conversation with them. There's a couple of sections on it. To be honest, because we had all these others, I mean, there's 3 that we had that in the last 3 weeks, we didn't move much on Army Corps, but I think we have to have, after the 1st, like next week, have another conversation about it. I spoke to somebody there and she sent me the list. Did I send everybody the list of the parameters of the project for the Army Corps project?
I know it was,
Okay.
it was listed
Well,
on the link where they advertised the grant. Was it something additional to what was listed on the?
It's buried in the information, but she sent it to me separately, and it's very clear, so we can decide what is a good project. Some of the things that we think might be a good project for them is not.
So I believed there, when I had looked at the requirements, there were 2 categories that we fit into. I think one of them was maybe even the seawall repair. But I think the deadline for that was the end of September. But I could be incorrect.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not applying. I'm sorry, the end of August. Like, so it was September 1st.
Was it September
No.
1st? I thought it was
The
more
Army
time.
Corps. The Army Corps is not September 1st. It's like end of September, October.
Oh, great. Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
All right, great news. Very exciting.
So yeah, so we're applying for a lot more now, you guys. Like I said, we're going to be a lot more aggressive when it comes to, and for my informational exposition, my state of the village, I'll be talking about this, but myself and Manager Lou, we're taking like a little shift on things, and we're kind of moving our priorities, and green infrastructure and sustainability and resiliency is going to be taken even more of a priority than it originally was.
Wonderful.
One last thing. Sorry, before you go, we'll be starting. I vetted the contractors for the tree planting, 76 trees, and they'll be planted within the next about month and a half. The manager and I will be doing a walkthrough probably next week with the contractor.
All right.
And we're going to incorporate. We're looking to incorporate maybe some of the ideas that the gentleman gave us about mimicking a forest. So if anybody has this information, I'd really like to be in touch with him.
Yeah, I just spoke to Miami Waterkeeper on Friday, and they said that their team would be happy to look at that stuff. They just needed you all to send it over to them.
Yeah, I don't have the information of who to send to. I thought it was with the gentleman, but can somebody tell me exactly who, or I'll find it in an email. But
you guys can send it to me if that's helpful. But it's Miami Waterkeeper hired local was the name of the gentleman that spoke. The consultant company is local to do this green infrastructure project through an EPA grant. So I can either give you guys their direct contact information, or you can send it to me and I can forward it on, whatever is
if you give me direct contact, that'd be great. I'd be happy to copy you on everything. But if you give me a direct contact, that'd be great.
All right, absolutely. I can go ahead and send an email out right after this with that.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
All right, thank you so much for those updates. That's wonderful news.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more coming, you guys. Like I said, there's going to be there's a shift that I'm implementing, just like in my mayoral administration. So that me and Christia are doing. Of course, we do everything together. So when I'm doing something, it's Christia and I. When I say she's doing something, it's Christia and I. So, Madam Chair, I know you have to go. When you leave, we won't have a quorum, so we'll have to end the meeting. So, I don't know if you just want to say we're going to table everything for next time. I don't know if we want to see if Vice Chair McLean wants to say something like 30 seconds about the river cleanup real quick.
Super quick. Yeah, I can say it in 30 seconds. So Pelican Harbor approached the Little River Conservancy about doing a cleanup. We did not do Little River cleanup in March because there's just been a lot going on. Pelican Harbor, but we did participate in Pelican Harbor's World River Day cleanup last year as a co-sponsor. World River Day is coming up again on the 28th this year. In the late breaking request, they asked if we would partner with them on that. But right now it's not an official event because we're trying to see whether or not we can get watercraft. So if we do get watercraft, we will, Pelican Harbor will put out an announcement about doing the community cleanup. It will be done on the South Florida Water Management side of the tracks because Pelican Harbor is breaking ground on their soil remediation, and they just closed their $4.4 million loan yesterday. So they're tearing things up on their side. So if it happens, it will happen on Sunday, the 28th on the South Florida Water Management side. But again, it's not locked down yet until we confirm whether or not we have watercraft. So that's my update.
All right, Madam Chair, you can skip through everything else. Madam Chair, very quickly, you're already 2 minutes after you have to go. Commissioner Ian, come back in for a second, my brother. Commissioner Ian, are we 100% certain that we don't have to take a vote on the grants?
Yeah, we don't have to do that. We just have to have
Are you sure?
this meeting as a public purpose. They want us to get the input from the public on the application process, and we have to show them the agenda, the minutes, the public notice, and evidence that the meeting was publicized publicly. But it's not, you guys don't need to move or approve anything. It's just for your information. And we have to demonstrate that we held this meeting for this specific project.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Commissioner Ian. Madam Chair, you can do a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm the limiting factor here. But thank you guys, everyone, so much. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're officially adjourned at 1:43. Thank you, everybody, so much. Wonderful to see everyone.
See you
Thank
guys on
you,
the
guys.
20th.
I'll be sending out emails for all this stuff so we can do our next meeting. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Take care.
thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Have a safe trip, Madam Chair. Have a safe trip to London. All right, you guys take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Take care, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it. You guys take care. Bye-bye.